Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Asia update. Quiet markets as summer a non-trading GA conditions kick into gear. Analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 717C318172023 am markets. NBSP US equities were flat. NBSP Friday, with US 10Y yields down 1 BP to 0.71%, oil down, and gold up. A miss on headline retail trade data for August weighed on sentiment, though the detail under the hood was much better than expected. NBSP European equities fell, the FTSE down 1.5% after the UK announced late Thursday that travellers returning from France would be subjected to a 14-day quarantine from Sunday. British authorities justified the decision by citing French virus cases that had moved just above the threshold A of about 20 cases per 100,000. Markets are opening incredibly quiet this morning as summer trading A, or should I say non-trading A, conditions are kicking into full gear. NBSP Gold. NBSP markets. We are probably seeing a small Buffett bandwagon bounce on gold this morning after Warren Buffett sold Goldman Sachs shares and rotated into Canadian gold miner Barrick stocks. But this should not be confused with Buffett turning cold on the US. Barrick is offering up sizable dividends with buyback looming, given their improved debt situation, ideal for Buffett's long-term strategy. But the Oracle of Omaha still leaves a pretty big footprint. NBSP. Yet, under the surface, this remains positive as it suggests longer-term investors are still looking to diversify from dollar exposure that the AVE built over years of US asset outperformance. NBSP oil markets. NBSP traders appear to focus more on the details of supply-demand, with the more prominent narratives including the health of economic growth and global inventories. NBSP still, oil remains buoyed by optimism that a sustained recovery in energy demand is underway, boosted by U.S. government data showing crude oil, gasoline, and distillate inventories all declined the week ending August 7. The U.S.-China 6-month review of the trade agreement has been delayed due to a scheduling issue, with a new date not yet set. There is some risk this could also be to see if China follows through with its commitment to accelerate crude oil imports from the U.S. Still, affirmation rumors were circulating in the markets Friday and pushed WTI higher. For good measure, Reuters confirmed those rumors, reporting U.S. crude oil shipments to China would rise sharply in the coming weeks, after U.S. traders, shipbrokers and Chinese importers said. China increasing U.S. oil imports is the most apparent trade deal reaffirmation. From a trade talk risk-on perspective, wiping down the last remnants of escalation risk is favorable for oil prices. Despite the stimulus package appearing to be in a standstill, markets appear to be taking the view that major fiscal legislation is inevitable, presumably based on the assumption that the Republicans will eventually accept a somewhat larger package in light of their incentive to support the economy ahead of the November election, where President Trump is trailing in the polls. NBSP misses for China's July retail sales and industrial production data dampened enthusiasm in the oil markets Friday. Still, prices recovered after a solid U.S. July retail sales print in what could be best described as a bit of a global macro data saw-off on Friday. As far as the China miss is concerned, the markets will continue to run with the "a bad news is good news" a narrative in the sense that any data miss is a cry out for more stimulus, even more so from the LBOC, which has been somewhat constrained with their policy measures relative to other global central banks. If the LBOC turns on the taps a little more, it should ultimately be good for oil markets. NBSP Russia's Energy Minister Alexander Novak said the global oil market is stabilizing gradually, so there is no need to ease OPEC output cuts ahead of schedule. OPEC has delayed its Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee by a day to August 19. Given Congress' failure to reach an agreement on the contours of the next fiscal package and with the Democratic and Republican nominating conventions taking place over the next couple of weeks, a deal is unlikely to materialize until the end of the month at the earliest, and NBSP anything else would be a huge positive surprise for the oil market. NBSP to be sure, this presents a problem for the 28 million Americans receiving employment wage subsidy in July and who, on the face of it, if they haven't found employment, had their monthly income shaved by over 60% in August. ETA not a great way to end the summer driving season, as the rolling lockdowns around the globe are never far from oil trader minds. The acceleration of new cases worldwide is becoming part of the discussion and may cause some slowing in European activity in the coming weeks. Unlike in the US some weeks ago, ETA harder to argue that the worst-hit European countries had tempted fate by reopening too much compared to their neighbors, so ETA less impactful for oil prices. With futures contracts hovering near the high of its 2-month trading range, bullish traders are having a hard time forging out a new higher range because of lingering demand concerns. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.